how to compose using the golden mean rectangle. This is an ancient mathematical formula which was written up in 1200 by an Italian fellow named Fibanacci. But they date these number systems being used in composition of art back to the ancient Sanskrit writings. So here's our finished piece, and you see we have the center of interest being very busy and tight. We have the medium size objects and the large open spaces. This goes along with this theory that if you compose your picture, if you arrange your elements in this formula, it will be the most aesthetically pleasing to humans. Now, if we'd like to do a piece of art that is not aesthetically pleasing, maybe we'd want to do something loud and bold. In that case, we might want to put the center of interest right in the middle. It would have a different emotional impact. So artists learn this mathematical formula, learning how to create the most interesting, engaging, and aesthetically pleasing pieces of art. And you can see how the small and the medium and the large rotating out and radiating out from the center of interest. We can see how it applies to this abstract piece. But this applies to every style of art. Let's look at some other styles. Here is an expressionistic stylized still life. Where's the first place where your eye is drawn? What's the busiest area? It should be right here. And then we have small details, a lot of strong contrast in this area. We go into a medium area of contrast, sizes, and details. And then finally we have these big, wide open, quiet areas. Let's look at another piece. Here's a very realistic still life. Again, we're trying to pull the viewer's eye into one of the corners first. So this should be the center of interest in this area. You see I have placed all of the objects close together right here. I have very strong highlights, very strong complementary color usage with the red and the green, the light and the dark. A lot of details, a lot of life on the surface of that apple, drawing the eye, balanced by this large, quiet, peaceful area. Let's look at another one. Here's an expressionistic piece. And you see the center of interest up here on the model's face. And then look at the large, peaceful areas and the strong dynamics of the color usage in this, where we have the background peaceful purples and lilacs, and then the figure is in hot oranges and pinks. Another piece. We do an object. We want to do a person, an animal. We don't have to put them right in the middle of the picture. If we do, it tends to be a little bit boring. We don't want to do boring art. We want art that is interesting to the viewer. So putting the object a little bit off to one of the sides creates more of an interesting finished product. And you see we have the turtle, he's swimming up here. Now the center of interest would probably be his eye. So I have moved the center of interest over a little bit. And we are free to experiment with this formula. We have our mathematical formula. We can use it, we can change it, we could try different ways of applying this formula. So here I've moved the center of interest up to this spot. But I still have the big turtle's body back in this corner. And then this is all just this movement of abstract blue tones. There are a few other rules that they teach in composition. Let's look at those. not necessarily rules, but more like guidelines that you may use if you would like to use them. An object that is almost touching another object creates a tension. You would only use two objects almost touching like that if you wanted a very tense, uncomfortable feeling in that area. A pleasing way to draw two objects is to have them overlapping, one in front of the other, or to have the two objects separate from each other. So these would both be considered pleasing. This would give tension. You don't want to have everything the same size in a picture, unless you're trying some sort of an experiment and doing just that. But usually you don't want to have all of your objects marching across the page in the same way. That would be a little bit redundant. We want to always have some small, some large, and some medium shapes. The edges of a piece of art represent a bridge between the world inside of the painting and the world outside of the painting. And the viewer is asked to cross over that bridge into this inner world. So if we have an object that we truncate on the edge, as so, it pulls the viewer into our picture. Sometimes people might use a road and have the road pull the viewer's eye in. There's different ways it can be done. But to have something go off the picture is actually a very good compositional device. And I hope all of these guidelines help you as you create your own original pieces of artwork. Remember, every art you create should be yours. It should be a unique piece.